Is it time to buy Mara stock? I'm gonna show you guys. We're gonna get right into it. And you know what? None of this tariff new stuff. We already know tariffs are out there. They're holding strong. They're causing a lot of fear, and that's really the main reason why we're seeing a lot of these prices come down. But I said this on the last Mara video. We're up here. We don't have enough strong hourly candles with enough volume to hold the price up here enough. It's just slightly above that support line. It's not gonna hold. Over the weekend, Bitcoin fell. We actually could make sense of this a little bit better. We saw Bitcoin fall a little bit over the weekend. Next thing you know, we're down here. We retest that CME gap. This time for real. We actually hit the CME gap. We weren't like a few $100s off. And now the price is starting to go ahead and rebalance itself, kind of trying to build up a little bit more strength. We didn't really come in down lower. On my last video, actually, I told you guys how this pattern looks very, very similar to the long multi-month sideways consolidation we've had in 2024, and how we can see the price go up a bit more before tanking once again, retesting the deep discount area around 77 to 80K potentially before pushing up higher. So we can easily see a little bit more momentum, a little bit more, or we can start coming down from here. But we need to see one more deep value dip before we could potentially really be realistic about if this discounted field that we're seeing Bitcoin in to be over. But I did say this though, Mara, right? And this is what's gonna make Mara buy. But Mara, I said it's very likely, obviously, pretty much guaranteed that it's gonna fall. Leading into this week, second trading week of March, right? And I said I don't think we're gonna find support within the blue retracement area. We can actually easily fall down lower and potentially even actually dip into this red super discounted area soon. And we easily did. You look at that, we dipped below, we're holding below that blue retracement. But it's very important to be patient with Mara right now. I'm not saying short and I'm not saying go long. I'm saying just to wait, keep an eye on it, be patient with it, because I do believe we can see a little bit more discount within this stock soon, in my own personal opinion. It's not financial advice or anything. I'm just giving you guys my own opinion. But even if Bitcoin kind of rallies up a little bit more over tonight, leading into what's tomorrow, Thursday, leading into trading Thursday, if it continues to push up or at least hold above 83, maybe above 84 a little bit, if that happens, we can see Mara show a little bit of strength. But at this point, it can easily get rejected inside this blue retracement area, and then Bitcoin will have that one more dip, right? That one more dip, just like we saw in 2024, similar pattern. And there's still a lot of fear out there. We can't say that it's gonna start riding up from here because there's still a lot of tariff fears. We have jobs reports coming out soon. We have the Federal Reserve meeting that's gonna come out soon, expected to hold rates the same, but we don't know what his tone is gonna be. Is it gonna be dovish, hawkish? Who knows? That will come with time. But even if Bitcoin shows a little bit of strength, we could see Mara potentially represent that by rallying up a little bit. It is fair to say that we're not going to see any sustained candles above the 120 moving average as of right now. I personally believe that even if throughout the rest of this week, there's 2 more trading days left, we can easily see Mara pump up, get rejected somewhere in this blue, easily get rejected by the 120. And then when Bitcoin finally starts to go ahead and retest those discounted levels once again, because so far we're still holding inside this blue retracement area for Bitcoin. We haven't really sustainably broken over it. We are above the 120 on Bitcoin. It's possible we can try to reach this green, but there's just a lot of weakness in this chart right now. We're not seeing a whole lot of strength in it, especially with this wick coming down all the way down here shows this bearishness. Yeah, we pumped up a little bit. Look at that, not enough volumes, no strong candles trying to break above it. It started consolidating just a little bit right over here. Couldn't really build up into it. There's some weakness right now, right? And of course, it's due to that broad economic fear. But guys, it's very, very important to understand that we are not out of the waters yet, and we can easily see more fear, pressure holding down these growth assets, these risk on assets. So it's very, very fair to say to keep an eye on Mara. I'm not gonna say, well, if you have a long time horizon of holding on to Mara for like multiple months throughout 2025, like chances are you're gonna be all right when Bitcoin and all this fear starts to go away, and Bitcoin starts to rally and starts to make retest all-time highs and starts to finally make more all-time highs again. Yeah, for sure. Um, extremely likely, but and I do believe Bitcoin personally that will be making a lot more highs this year. But when it comes to the short-term noise, right? It's fair to say we can easily, very easily, see the price jump up. You know what? It can even come up back up to like, what is that, like around $15.60. It's a pretty good gap right here. Solid imbalance. We have this giant candle here. It can actually pump up, break the 120, and push up this retracement area just a little bit more. And actually, what that will look like currently from the overall dip, it'll look something like that. So there's a lot of caution. See, it can break above it just a little bit, but then it can easily get rejected because again, it's all highly influenced by Bitcoin. So right now, short term, yeah, we can see a little bit of more momentum building up, although Bitcoin is weakening a little bit. But regardless, anywhere in here, we can easily see a rejection and then go ahead and show more weakness on Mara. So it's very important to understand this short-term risk, because although Bitcoin looks pretty good, it's looking healthy, it's struggling a little bit at the current level. Um, it's just something to keep an eye on. Actually, this level is also an imbalance right here. There's not enough momentum just at the moment. So I'm looking for Bitcoin to potentially in the short term see a little bit more weakness and see if it can find a support above this previous swing low that will create that massive. I talked about this in the very last video. It's like a woman with a Bitcoin against her face, kind of like holding it up a little bit. That video, I explained how this inverse potential head and shoulders pattern that is forming is very, very similar to the one. I'm not going to get into a lot because I talked about it a lot in that video. But it's very similar to what we're seeing here. We see a dip to deep value, rise up pretty aggressively, come back down, deep value again, but this time lower. A little bit of a fake out uptrend pattern forming before it tests that discounted range once again, but this time higher than the second dip, and then from there potentially start seeing that uptrend, a true uptrend form at those levels, right? So now what we're seeing is something very similar. So this is basically what I'm trying to say, right? So we come down into deep value. That's nearing that CME gap. We have a big run up, and then we trade back down, make it a new low, a deeper low. This will be the second. And then we can potentially see what can look like a fake out of an uptrend forming somewhere around there, and then dip back down into deep value before it can potentially start making a new rise to, back up into like the 6 digits. But it's very important to understand that we can see super strong structures forming anytime soon before some kind of news comes out, causes fear, and then we have that little bit that one more dip into deep discount, and then how that can influence Mara, because again, there's a trade war going on. There's tariffs, and there's a lot of back and forth, and there's nothing super clear at the moment. And eventually this will all fade away. But as of right now, it's very fair to say that if Mara starts showing any strength in the short term, it's very important to understand that we can see another aggressive dip before we can once again start trading above this long-term support line that I've been tracking for a long time. So it's just very important to keep an eye out on this, right? It's very important because we don't really know when a lot of this fear is going to start fading away. It's crazy stuff can happen in the news media all the time, so it's very important just to be cautious and careful with these short-term trades, because once again, we can easily get a bullish fake out before an aggressive dip. So I'm keeping an eye on Bitcoin. That translates into Mara, potentially showing a little bit of strength before another dip, and then that one more dip would be really, really strong buying opportunity, in my opinion, if we can see Mara come down below $13, especially under $12. If this can come back down to the 11s, or even try to test this red right here when we have that one more aggressive dip, or whatever that's really gonna look like. Either way, super great deals are gonna come up soon. If for any case if Bitcoin were to just show weakness here instead of trying to push up a little higher into this green area, if it shows weakness now and it starts coming back down very easily, we can see Mara be ahead of the game, enter this red area potentially, and within this red area, oh man, amazing. This will be an amazing setup for like a strong swing trade for when Bitcoin starts to finally recover, when all this fear kind of gets settled, and then everyone starts realizing like, hey, there's not really a recession happening, or it's not that bad. We'll see how the future unfolds, but just understand that there is a lot of short-term weakness for Mara coming up soon, in my opinion. That, of course, that's coming from Bitcoin. So we'll see how this unfolds, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it made sense, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.